this is seen as like a blanket indictment of law enforcement in general?
What was that?
Are you concerned that it can be seen as a blanket indictment against law enforcement in general?
As far as what? I don't really understand what you're trying to get at.
People get murdered by police. I mean, do you think that it seems as sort of an indictment against police?
There is police brutality. People of color have been targeted by police. So that's a large part of it. And they're government officials. They're put in place by the government. So, you know, that's something that this country has to change. There's things we can do to, you know, hold them more accountable, make those standards higher. You have people that practice law and are lawyers and go to school for 8 years, but you can become a cop in 6 months and don't have to have the same amount of training as a cosmetologist. That's insane. I mean, someone that's holding a curling iron has more education and more training than people that have a gun and are going out on the street to protect us.
Luther and I, and everyone in this arena tonight, are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Basically, Fox News and all of their conservative cuckolds are angry about the fact that Nike decided that they were going to come out, support Colin Kaepernick, give him his own sneaker line, and basically put money in their pockets and do it right in the face of all of this quote-unquote conservatism, who thinks that they should be able to go have a beer and watch football without having to worry about Colin Kaepernick's protest. They don't have to worry about where they are cops supposedly shooting or brutalizing suspects. So as far as they're concerned, they don't want to hear about it. They want to just go about their business. And apparently a lot of people, and we know exactly who the fuck these people are, but anyway, a lot of these quote unquote people decided that what they were going to do is they were going to take their Nike merchandise and they were going to burn it. Now, mind you, never mind the fact that these idiots already spent the money on the merchandise and they can't get the money back because most likely their receipts are old, past 30 days. They're never getting that shit back. They've worn it. It's not going back. So the only thing these morons could possibly do in order to show their protest is to burn their sports equipment. Now, mind you, the problem is so much shit is made by Nike that you've purchased. Your socks, your football gear, your helmets, your footballs, your basketballs. There's so much shit made by Nike that I think if I were to really comb through my house, I would find so much Nike shit that burning it all would probably require an industrial strength incinerator. So wherein all of these conservatives were so happy and laughing at Colin, oh yeah, well guess what, you're fired now, buddy, you ain't getting no more money. Well, now Nike has decided, in an election season, by the way, coming up in November, when you got all of these angry little kids who are in school who just got the right to vote. I think the number was 5 million new kids are coming out to vote this year who've just turned voting age. And I believe by 2020, that's going to be 15 million. Conservatives have a lot of reason to worry, and that's the reason why they're trying to get out there ahead of the story, and they're trying to make it look like they're fair and balanced. They're trying to make it appear that they're impartial. The thing about it is we already know what side they're on because they foolishly picked Trump's side on this, and Trump is the one who actually violated the law. For all of you people who actually watch my videos and you know how to read, because I know there's a lot of you assholes here who like thumbs down my videos. Oh yeah, well we thought you were a Trump supporter. We thought you were a hardcore conservative. It's like, listen, if you really thought that shit, then I don't know how to tell you how stupid you really are, because I'm an independent. I can go in any direction I want. And bottom line is, Trump, by calling NFL players sons of bitches and by even fucking suggesting to a corporation that they fire somebody just because he doesn't like them. Well, guess what? If we didn't have a corrupt Republican Congress right now in charge, they would know that he's violated 18 U.S. Code subsection 227. 18 U.S. Code 227, wrongfully influencing a private, quote-unquote, private entity. I always love that word because I am myself in a business. I love the private entities because they are not Congress. They absolutely can censor you. They absolutely can tell you to go fuck off, just like Facebook did to Alex Jones, just like YouTube did to Alex Jones, just like YouTube has done to a number of other these quote-unquote conservatives who are really running hate speech that they normally would have had on Stormfront, but now they're trying to branch out. The problem is, for them, it's not enough to just branch out. They need your attention. If they don't have your attention, then they don't mean shit. Just being on Stormfront doesn't mean shit unless people actually come to Stormfront to look and see what they're saying. These motherfuckers are trying to be on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all that shit, and they're trying to say they're trying to talk this shit out loud. Now, granted, they have every right to do that. They have every right to talk all their hate speech and their Holocaust denial and all that bullshit. But guess what? YouTube says, fuck that, not on my server. Facebook says, fuck off. Twitter says, get the fuck out of here. So anyway, 18 U.S. Code 277. Wrongfully influencing a private entity's employment decisions by a member of Congress or an officer or employee of the legislative or executive branch. I don't think that you have to be out of high school to understand what this means. It means that, guess what, Trump? Shut the fuck up. You have no right, number one, under Congress, what we know the Constitution of the First Amendment, you have absolutely no right to censor anybody because you're part of fucking government. The Constitution itself already told you to shut the fuck up. Those are negative rights against the government itself in order to make sure that American citizens are free. So the Constitution itself told you to shut the fuck up. Number two, if you're in Congress, you also can shut the fuck up. You ain't got nothing to say. And guess what? If you're a legislative branch or executive branch, guess what? If you're in the Supreme Court, the Constitution itself told you to shut the fuck up. You ain't got nothing to say about it. You ain't got nothing to say about it. You can give your opinion, but if you're trying to tell corporations and private NFL owners and whatnot, private, mind you that word private, if you're trying to tell these people who they should and can't fire simply because you're upset that they're going against the Constitution and the flag, because you don't like them, they're always talking bad about the police and how they beat people and shoot people and how they shot like 500 people this year. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean you have a right to say it. You don't have a right to say it, and that's under the U.S. Code, subsection 227, 18 U.S. Code. So you go look it up yourself, because I already basically read it to you. See, I know the law. You can't run that bullshit on me. I'll tell you off in public. I don't give a fuck. So, back to the situation. Here, these are obviously Nike sneakers. These are obviously Jordan sneakers right here. Now, me personally, I usually don't wear clothes like this. I have others. A lot of us have a lot of Nike stuff. Some of us collect sneakers. But you're going to have a hard as fuck time going up against these kids if you're trying to get them to jump on board your conservative bandwagon to get rid of their Nike memorabilia. You see these fucking sneakers? These things were like $200. Look at this. I got a little bit of a scuff mark on them because when you drive and you rub your feet on the drive well, got a little bit of scuff. Anyway, these sneakers, I think these things were like $200 or something. And the only reason why I bought them was so I could go to the club in style. I got ruby reds like Dorothy, so you can click your heels together and you go back to Oz. And the bottom line is, you're never going to convince these kids to go with that conservative bullshit, because these are the exact same kids that were marching against you when it came to those anti-gun rallies started by David Hogg and Gonzalez. And even though Fox and their little conservative cunts tried to turn everybody against these people. I mean, for God's sakes, Alex Jones was trying to turn you against the Sandy Hook survivors, for God's sakes. The few of them that did survive, that bastard. So anyway, you're never going to get these kids. They're going to come out in November, the ones that got the right to vote, and they're going to vote against you. That's what they're getting ready to do. And I want to remind you of something. And a lot of you already knew. The reason why I knew Donald Trump was going to win in 2016 was because I saw exactly what conservative media was doing to attack Hillary Clinton long ago. In fact, they've been attacking Hillary Clinton since I was a kid back in the 90s. And I remember when they were attacking her on Hillary Care and this, that, and other. And I realized that when Bernie Sanders was allowed to steal her spotlight with his communist, fuck that Democrat socialism bullshit, with his communist talk, promising that he's going to give everybody free college and all this bullshit that was never going to happen. And he's going to, how am I going to pay for it? I'm going to raise taxes on the rich. Yeah, whether you're a Bernie supporter, a Trump supporter, or a Hillary supporter, I really don't care one way or another. I don't support any of them. Communist Sanders, crooked Hillary, and madman Trump. I never supported any of them. I just knew he was going to win because they allowed that communist to steal just enough of her spotlight. And I also realized that the generation below me, I'm Generation Y, I'm a millennial. The generation below me that has the right to vote, I realized that they weren't going to support Hillary Clinton, and I realized it early on. I had to argue with so many people. I had to argue with people before Trump got the GOP nomination, and I argued with them. I bet the money. The fuckers unfriended me from Facebook because once they realized I was right, all of a sudden they stopped talking to me because, I'm a troll. I sent pictures of me flashing my teeth at them. Yeah, like, where's my money and everything? These fuckers defriended me and shit. I'd been arguing with people 2 fucking years that what was going to happen exactly the way it was going to happen. What I didn't realize that Hillary was going to actually win with the popular vote, but only lose by 100,000 votes over fewer than 5 different electoral districts that she needed. The bottom line is, the proof is in the pudding. Even though Hillary is not president right now, the proof is in the pudding. Hillary Clinton got the popular vote. Now, you see this right here is actually not fully accurate because this was taken before they actually did all of the full exit polling. So, because I keep track of this shit. You know me, I'm a numbers guy. So this is actually the accurate number. You can actually see this right now on Wikipedia. And they tell you where they're getting the information from. So it's not like it's Wikipedia, so you can't trust it. They tell you where they're referencing the fucking information. Bottom line is this. Popular vote, she won by 3 million votes. Now, most likely that was because of California or New York or both put together or whatever. The thing about it is, the only reason why Trump is president right now is because there were so many people who refused to come out and vote. And that is a trend that started back in 2008. But it's always been a problem getting these people to show up and vote. So basically, just look at this. In 2008, and I want you to understand something. Despite the disaster that was the Bush presidency, you still got 60 million of these dumbasses to come out and vote for John McCain. And God rest his soul, because I respect John McCain. He fought for the country. He endured torture, and he endured more than President Bone Spurs, Private Bone Spurs, whatever you want to call him, ever will endure. But what I can say is this. The problem with John McCain that I have is that he brought that idiot Sarah Palin into the mainstream and made that moron able to actually make it cool to be anti-intellectual. You don't have to be intellectual just to be decent or just to be smart. But he made Sarah Palin, by him bringing her out, and I understand he was trying to do whatever he could to stop this black Muslim from becoming the first black Muslim president. I understand that he had to do what he had to do. Bottom line is, he lost by a fucking landslide. He lost by 10 million votes, and then he lost by what looks to be half electoral college votes, something like that, right? So basically, let's just look at the bar graph, because that's easy to look at. So you got 69,498,000 here, and about 10 million, a little less than 10 million. And that's how much these people, even after they got their asses kicked by the Bush economy in 2008. They got their asses kicked. These morons, 60 million of these morons still came out to vote for this guy. After they got their asses kicked, they still came out to vote for this guy. Whatever. But guess what? This many people said, you know what? Bush got through kicking our ass, so we're not going to vote for this guy. We're going to vote absolutely against him. And that's the reason why Obama got 69 million, but John McCain only got 59 million. So now you go over here, 2008. I think a lot of people were disappointed by how Obamacare turned out. They really thought that they were going to get a free ride on healthcare, and they thought everything was going to be perfect on healthcare. But what happened was, and I think I talked about this in a video, that individual mandate was a tax. I have friends who got hit with like $700 worth of taxes if they didn't have government appropriate healthcare. I've always had healthcare. I've been covered since like a long time ago, so I never had to worry about healthcare. So anyway, this time around, I guess all the people who were getting their ass kicked by the Obama healthcare plan, they came out and they were like, yeah, let's get this black Muslim and this racist black church out of here. With Jeremiah Wright. So basically, he had a little bit more, but basically, Obama basically still won by like 5 million votes. Now, as far as electoral, the gap closed, so it was 365 down to 332. Okay, fine. But my point is this. Hillary Clinton got the popular vote, but she only lost electorally, right? Now, what do you think is going to happen when all these angry-ass kids who are tired of worrying about being shot in the back when they go to school, what do you think is going to happen when they show up to these polls? You think they're going to vote conservative? You think they're going to vote for Fox News? You think they're going to vote for Alex Jones followers? No, the fuck they're not. They're going to vote absolutely liberal. You ain't got a choice in this. And the last thing I want to say is about these corporations. The corporations don't give a fuck about any of us. The only thing a corporation is concerned with is how do they make more money. And it doesn't matter who's at the head of it. The only thing they're worried about is who's going to make more money. That's the bottom line. Nike doesn't give a goddamn about any of you. Michael, when was the last time you saw Michael Jordan in the hood handing out money? I don't remember ever seeing Michael Jordan, even Takai, what's that asshole's name? 6ix9ine, that shit rapper who looks like a clown. I seen him handing out money. You ain't never seen Michael Jordan. I got 2 pairs of this dude's sneakers right there. I got a 3rd one in the closet. I ain't never seen Michael Jordan handing out no money. These people really think that the corporations give a shit that you want to burn your merchandise. They don't give a goddamn about you burning your sneakers. They don't care. Because eventually, another corporation's going to turn against you. It might be Under Armour. It might be Reebok. It might be Adidas. If Nike already took a stand and said, yeah, well, we stand against hate and we stand against division, what do you think the other ones are going to do? Do you think they're going to just sit on the sidelines and not say nothing? In fact, with this Me Too movement with these women, you can almost bet that they're going to have to say something. And when they do decide to say something, guess what? This is what you're going to see more of. Kaepernick sneakers. They got Kaepernick, look at this shit. They got Kaepernick sneakers coming out, and those actually look kind of cool. I never thought that you could take white sneakers and make them look cool by just putting letters on them. But guess what? You're going to have all these liberal voting kids lined up for these sneakers. And if you don't like it, well, shame on you. If you want, you can protest all you want. No problem. Nobody cares. Go ahead. Protest. Burn your shit. I would hope that you could burn it in a way that could produce heat or electricity for somebody. Maybe you could put it in a generator and burn it. But guess what? You ain't stopping these kids from buying these goddamn sneakers. I wish you could stop these kids from buying these sneakers. I don't know how these stupid parents, these negligent parents, let their kids buy shit like this and waste up all their money. These parents shouldn't be getting them sneakers, and they also shouldn't be allowing them to have iPhones and all these expensive-ass Samsung phones. They shouldn't have any of that shit. But my bottom line is this. Nike doesn't give a fuck about you at all. The only thing they're concerned with is their bottom line, which even if their stock is down a little bit today, stocks go down and up all the time. We already know that. Even Facebook, they lost a lot of money. They gained a lot of money. Zuckerberg's a multi-billionaire. He watched himself lose millions of dollars. He watched himself gain millions of dollars within the next couple of weeks. Then he watched himself lose millions of dollars again. It's a stock. They don't give a fuck about you. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with is this. This is a little quote I wrote right here. I said, apparently Nike has chosen a side. As a black Republican or any Republican, you should be recognizing the First Amendment and 14th Amendments guaranteed to secure the right of private corporations to make private contracts as they so choose. What you will notice gradually is that with the boycotting of right-wing media by several companies surrounding the Hog Gonzalez launched moment of silence for students around the country, corporations are going to continue to make their stance against racism, gun violence, police brutality, and white nationalism clear. If you choose to boycott the NFL, that is your choice. But understand, you'll also have to boycott everything else. Corporations thrive on inclusion, not exclusivity. All those who laughed at Kaepernick, take a good long look. This is what's coming. So I'm going to stop because, I'm cheap and everything. I use my iPhone for everything. So I'm going to stop with a dramatic zoom in to Kaepernick's eyes, standing there looking like Jesus, laughing at Trump.